but this proves you that we have in Sudan a very rich history, and we can be proud of that. I tell we can, because I am here working from 54 years and I am Sudanese in heart. And actually we try to understand the general level of the town, but in this place you have to think that we have many towns, one under the other. And the remain you will see at this level with these little bastions are 1,000 years later. That means that during the next generation, not me, but people will go down step by step, looking at many towns belonging to the history of the Sudan. We found some days ago a small temple here. You can see the round shape in white, but there is a lot of dust coming yesterday and we have still a lot to clean. But here we are at the place of the latest temple of this place. It was smaller at the beginning, probably going down, and we can find many levels. If you think that this level is belonging to this temple, we are sure that we can find many things. But here we try to understand this round shaped building, round there. The building has this shape more or less. And we have a round altar here, round altar here, round altar here, and we have many columns all around. And in this temple we have an arrival here with a staircase leading to this temple. This temple is probably around well, 600, 700 before Christ built here. And you can see also these columns, this wall going out, and here inside we have Guseba. That means granaries with the reserve of the temple. And here this round shape is beginning to this altar. And we have another one there and another one there. And this is the latest period. After that, Pharaoh coming from Egypt, Psammetics II, came and destroyed the town. Destroyed also the temple, naturally. He was interested to destroy this temple. And you can see ashes there under the jacket. These ashes belong to the destruction of the temple.
And is this architecture is it classical?
No, it is unknown. My problem here, you know, the archaeologists are working by comparison, and we know very well the Egyptian architecture. We know very well the Sudanese Nubian architecture, I will say, because here near the Defufa we have the capital of Nubia, this country between Egypt and Central Africa. But in Central Africa we don't know anything. And this is naturally the opportunity to understand what is Central Africa, because it is an African architecture. And I try to understand this architecture, very strange. In this case we have 10 meters. It is, well, for beams, for wooden beams, it's try to understand also the functions, because it is not the normal face of a temple.
Is this architecture known in any other place of Central Africa, or is it unique to this particular?
Well, because this architecture is connected with the tradition of more or less 3000 before Christ till 1000 before Christ. This is maybe 700 or 600 before Christ. That means we have the opportunity to study an extraordinary architecture, unknown, because in Africa you don't have any remains older than 200 or 300 years. Here it is 3,000, 4,000 years.
My question is it possible that this architecture is unique to this place?
Till now it is unique, but I am sure that in central Sudan you will have the same architecture. But archaeology have to work down and doing the work, and actually there is no work in this place of the work, and this is my problem, because I try to understand an unknown architecture. But naturally it is fascinating, because it is also an extraordinary opportunity to understand something
I
extraordinary.
also have a question that might sound very stupid. The lines on these columns,
It is the line of the bricks, because these columns are done with bricks. And this line drawn who was organized the brick to build the column. But you have to think that this column is going till 10 meter high or 12 meter, and this wall also. And the roof was going from here to there, where is this man there. And naturally it is technically very interesting. It was a roof like today, but 10 meter it is a lot.
So this would be the base of the columns?
Exactly. It's the base, the low part of the column.
Yeah.
Probably the column was smaller in the middle, here, going up. And this was only the base, as you question.
What about the future, Prof? Do you have enough funding? Do you have a plan for? But it seems to be quite a large find.
Well, you know, I try to, because I am a very old man, I'm 85, 86 now, and I have to think to the future. I built a part of the history of the Sudan with the help of many other people, but now I have to think to the future, like you, for example. And
This is the mother of the young boy who wrote to you and you said you will take him next year. Asad Bouvier.
I was,
This is his mother.
yes. Well, I was sorry, but it was not possible.
Yes, he thought of it later as well.
It was late, and it is very complicated to organize such an expedition. As you questioned me before, it's a very expensive expedition. It is $100,000 each year. I cannot tell, well, I can take this one, this one, and this one. And I am not alone, because 6 years ago I decided to international organization, because I think that if you are doing too much nationalism, it will be very dangerous for the future. This is the reason why we are Swiss Franco-Sudanese expedition, and have the French part of the expedition to discuss, for example, in the case of your boy. And naturally it is not so easy, because the problem is to show how organize the collaboration. And your boy is very young, and this is also a problem, because it is difficult to live in this country.
Yes, he's used to living in substance, even though he's young.
Yes, but
It's,
I can think that here in Karma it is complicated for many reasons.
I
I don't
understand.
have time to
Yeah.
explain to you,
That's right, yeah.
but for many reasons. And
But if you continue on the future part, what are you planning for the future?
for the future, I try to study more and more of this city, because this city is like Luxor for Egypt. And if we can have more details of more knowledge about the history of Sudan, it will be very useful for Sudanese people, because as you know, past is preparing the future, and the past is helping the boy today to understand, to have roots. And naturally, I try in this field, because when I came 50 years ago, well, nobody was thinking that it was a real history here. It was only a part of Egypt extended until the Sudan. But no, it is really the central history of this part of the continent. And I think that Sudan is important not only for the country itself, but all around, for Uganda, all this country around Ethiopia. And for all this reason, I try to understand more and more of the history of the country. And if I did 20 books and 400 or 500 articles in many publications, for that, all the world will know about the history of the Sudan. Naturally, the Egyptians are not very happy of that. And it is very complicated for me. For example, Zayawas, maybe you know his name, attacked me a lot, telling, but I am speaking about the history of the Sudan. There is no history in Sudan. There is only the Egypt in Sudan. And I explained him that he was thinking wrongly. Here, there is an history.
But you know what is missing for the future? What I call the burning soul. You had a burning soul, and you were determined to continue your work even at your age and health condition. I think that's the biggest problem for the future, to find someone or some people who have the burning soul, who have the conviction and the belief that there is something of value here.
As I show you, practically, I will say, there is work for 200 years in this place. That means that one day foreigners people will leave the country, and people of the Sudan have to take in hand the history of Zenza. This is the main philosophy we have to think for. And in fact, I prepare many people. You know Salahuddin Mohammed Ahmed, you know Abdelrahman Ali, and these people work with me in Europe. Salahuddin stayed more than 12 years to know exactly what we are thinking. Next week, there is a young lady coming and living with us in the rest house, coming from Shendi. And all these people are prepared for tomorrow. But it's need more people because the country is enormous. And I was speaking 1 month ago with Abdelrahman, and he's telling me, well, I am preparing a huge survey in Darfur to understand a little better your architecture. And I think that this architecture here in mud is in Darfur in stone. And we know that, but there is no scientific work. And if you don't have publication, if you don't have documentation, it is like if there is nothing. You know, I think that there is a big road from the north to the south, from Europe, Mediterranean Sea, Middle East and Egypt to the Sudan. This road is well known because thousands and thousands of people are working on Egyptology. In all the world you have institute of but Sudanese nothing, only in Khartoum. And this is naturally an enormous problem, because to show the complexity of the history, you need documentation, you need books, you need many people, not only one people like me. I cannot be the face of your history. Your history is belonging to you and to many people. And we need these people on the spot. And naturally, we need money. And as you know, for example, these days it is typical. There is no money in this country. And naturally, it's a problem of evolution. It's a problem of explanation. It is what I try to do as the president and other people in the politics or in different fields in the university. The 6th of February I will do a presentation is in the University of Milan. Well, I try to do my best, but I am alone.
Yeah. This is what my father was saying.
Yeah.
After you, because you're the burner, you're the generator, sort of.
Yes.
Is there someone?
But as I explained you, I am doing a lot of promotion and publicity for the Sudan all around the world.
What
A
about
book
money?
of Harvard University will come up after 1-2 weeks. I was there, and it was very difficult to explain to the American the history of this country, because I think that it is a barbarous country and there is no possibility to understand something here. It is wrong, naturally.
What about funding? Are you funded by the Qatari Sudanese project or?
Well, the government of Switzerland is giving more or less a third of the funding. The French government is giving a quarter of the funding, and my pocket is giving half of the money each year. This is also a problem because it is abnormal. You know, for example, this place, it is the heart of the history of your country. I bought it last year, and it was a shame for the government. And finally the government told me, well, we will buy these things. And actually the advocate who did the transaction keep my money and the government pays the owner. This is a real problem on the spot, you know. And yes.
But you know, with the government, I heard the minister, the ex-minister, when he was testifying in the court case of Abdurrahman and his colleagues, somebody asked him, have you been to a museum before? He said, no, I never go to museums because there are asnam. You know what the asnam are? The asnam are statues that are worshipped, not statues that we look at. So if that's the mentality of the Minister of Tourism and Artifacts, that he considers this kind of work as if it is heresy.
This is the reason why I found this beautiful statue in the museum. Maybe you have been there.
Yes.
Well, Mohammed Hassan was there. Well, I decided to do a museum, and I refused the proposal of British Museum to take the statue and to do the statue, to do the work, because it was very expensive. Only to rebuild the statue, restoration work, termine. And this is the reason why I told the minister, it was 10 years ago, well, we have to have a museum here, and if you are not building it, I will build it, but because I will do it, because it is unnormal to take this statue in England for restoration. I will pay the restoration, I will pay what the presentation in the museum, but not the museum itself, because it is your duty. And they agreed. And they built the museum, as you can see, with Sabat. And actually, this museum is very well known all around the world.
And the set of statues that you have, this is the most complete of the 25th dynasty, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yeah. It is. 25th and the first kings of the Napatan kingdom.
I see.
It is the king. Well, during the period, the pharaoh from here was leading Egypt and Sudan. during 100 years, and after that, people of the Sudan have a very sophisticated and state, the Napatan Kingdom, and after that you have the Meroitic Kingdom.
But I'm sure you understand that our ministers don't really represent the Sudanese people. You know that more than everybody else.
Well, I try to do my best because, you know, fighting with minister, it is useless. You have to ask help of them, and they can give you help, they can do it. And in fact, it is a very interesting lady, actually, the minister for archaeology. She was the health minister. Yes, she's a very nice person. To wrap.
I have a question about the site itself. So there were people living here, like when it was in full effect. So in terms of like resources, were like for example all of the trees around. What
The
would have
main
been here
resource
before?
of this region, it is for that people of Egypt was dreaming to come here and to control this region, is that they were mostly interested by many products coming from the south. Gold, ivory, ebony, and
Feathers of
feather, for example. And naturally, for them, all the control was there in Kerma. Okay, and a key point, a meeting point. Because we had the road going till the Darfur and the road till Kassala, and we know that it was the center of the commercial exchange with Egypt and etc. And naturally the Egyptians want to keep this place, and the king of Kerma organized a very complex state, asking his friend coming from south. For example, the mythic country of Punt near the Red Sea. We know that at 1,400 kilometers, people came till here to defend this region against Egyptian troops. And this is naturally very, very interesting to show how it was strong and how it is like in Switzerland. We have a federation. They did a federation with many countries, with Darfur. This is the reason why I think that we have a main road going from the Mediterranean Sea till here, but we have also a very important road from the east to the west, and from the Red Sea, Kassala, Kordofan, Darfur, and all this country was also organizing kingdom, very complex kingdom and organization state. This is also this place is to study for people like you, but also all the central Sudan is unknown actually, there is nothing unknown.
Why don't you ask about town planning?
Because yeah, I'm studying urban planning in university. So in terms of like, because I know at a time like this they wouldn't have like a city official plan like we do today. But how do you think they thought about, you know, how this would be the central trading place, or where to put this, or just the overall plan of the community?
Well, the evolution, as you are studying, is a very complex problem. And generally we look at the evolution of the latest cities. For the oldest city, as you know also, we are not very well documented. In Egypt, for example, you have only Tel El Amarna of the king Akhenaton known, but it is an artificial town, a little special. You have remains, for example, in Elephantine, in Aswan, but very few examples of town. Here it is the opportunity from the height of the Defufag to look at all the town and to understand the evolution. I did many articles and books on this problem, and you can understand that it was first a road. On both sides of the road, the town is organizing the main building, like in Tel El Amarna, you know, with the temple and all this buildings are connected with institutions. And you have also houses of the rich people, responsible people, and houses of middle and poor people. And I have a very good idea about this town there. You can see it from the upper part of the Defufa because it is a good opportunity to understand the town. Here it is more complex because we have many towns, as I told you, and we have many periods, very complex. We have the period of when the Egyptian came and did a town in the taste of Egypt. There is the town, indigenous town here before the arrival of the Egyptian, and we have the town of later period of this kingdom, the Sudan, Namatan and Meroe. That's
We went to Meroe yesterday.
Yes, in Meroe you have an example of urbanism, but it is only the official part of the town known. We don't have any idea about all the normal people town. Well, it is a very complex problem, but here I try to understand it.
In terms of
I
like,
did many books, but in French.
I speak French.
Oh, you speak French?
He sent me his latest book as a present, and you can borrow it and read it.
Yeah, I
Well,
speak French.
I did last year, 2 years ago, a book on the Karma topography,
Oh, cool.
urban topography. You can buy it in Switzerland. It is done in Lausanne.
Oh, because I live in Canada.
Ah, you live in Canada.
You
But
can
my
ask Sarah.
sister-
You can ask Sarah to do that.
Also, I have a question about not just the physical town, but do you have any knowledge of the community and like hierarchy in the community?
Yes, naturally, because the kingdom is organized like many other kingdoms in the world. And you know that there are many publications on this problem, the beginning of the complex kingdom,
Yeah.
with the king and all the people working with him and all the institutions. And naturally, if you look carefully at my book on Karma, you will see that we have many institutions in the town itself, and the archaeology help us to understand these institutions. Because there is the institution of the temple, for example. The temple and the annexes is not only religious, it is also economic, with a lot of exchanges, because the temple have many pieces of land and doing agriculture all around. We have the institution of the king disease, and we have chapels with workshop preparing holy bread for this chapel. All these things we can understand them, and they help us to understand the beginning of this kingdom with archaeology, because we don't have text in this case.
Yeah.
And in central Sudan probably there is no text before the Napatan period.
Did any of your findings show not gender roles, but roles within the community? So what the women would do and what the men would do, and how?
Well,
Higher income
you
versus
know,
lower
if you are a little sophisticated in archaeology, and if you are working like me with a brush coming from Switzerland, you know, you can see in a house, for example, where was living the daughter, where was living the mother, where was living the owner of the habitation, and what was the organization of for workshop, for artifacts, and all these things. It is what you have to learn. It's very complex, because there is a connection of what you see here with this huge temple, 30 meter by 10 meter. It is only one temple of this. We found round temples there, we found huge temples here, and all these things are giving for us us an idea about the organization of the town. It is urbanism.
Yeah.
For the living day, well, I will say it is no more complexity because you know today you can have a good idea about this part of the life.
How do you explain the fact that whenever we see images and engravings all over the country, there is always the king and the queen. There is prominence for the queen. It's not like if there is an emperor, he's only there. Most of what I saw in Nagaa Mutawarat, wherever you go, there is prominence for the queen as well.
Well, it is your roots, I will say. There are very few queens important in Egypt, but there are also, like Queen Hatshepsut, very strong here. She did a lot of work in this town. But in the case of Meroe or Musawarat, I think that the Candace, the queen of this part, was very important during this period. It was not a mode, but it was a tradition, or local tradition, I would say, or regional tradition. And well, few work have been done, I will say, on this spot.
Would the queen be, for example, when the queen dies, would it be her daughter would become the queen, or would she choose a woman that she thinks would be best
Yes, it is a family of king and queen, and naturally this is very important because when the end of the family is coming, you have sometimes the end of a family.
Yeah.
Naturally, it was very complicated, and they have to change. And many times in Egypt, for example, you have a chief of war taking in hand the power, like today. When
Yeah. So then women here would be considered, they would have every
well,
right.
during a period, not during all the history.
Yeah.
You know the history of the Sudan is so complex that you have to think by period.
So
Here
during,
it is 4,000, 3,000 years ago, in this whole 4,000 years ago. But you have temple of 500 years before Christ and 2,000 years ago also.
so during which periods would you say, or during all periods, would women or girls have the same rights to
During the
education and knowledge?
marriage, that means Greco-Roman period.
They had privilege and rights to knowledge and education.
How long do you think it will take to have more clarity? You seem to be scratching the surface now, right?
You know, when I came here, nobody was speaking about history of the Sudan in the school. Only the history of Allah and Muhammad, but nothing else. This was the only history of the Sudan. Today, in all the schools here, they are beginning to speak about the history of Selma, the history of the Sudan. And naturally, it is because some archaeologists, very few, did a work useful for the country. And I think that it is important to follow this work. Never it will be enough. The main problem for me, if I am doing a lot of publicity, working with the radio, with television, it is a special work. But my duty is to do scientific work, to show scientifically that there is roots in this country and there is proof of the history. Because all around the world they will not believe you if you dream.
Has to be evidence-based.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it is very heavy. I have actually 100 people working around maybe 20 people working for restoration work. I have an enormous budget for the year, as I told you, and all is on my own pocket. And this is the problem, because you have to find people like me agreeing to do such a work. It is not so. If I tell you, well, tomorrow you will come with me without any salary and you will do this kind of work, it will be very difficult for you, for your own life. And it is because I am passionate and because I love this country. It is my country, as I told you. And we cannot ask all the people of the world to love the Sudan.
That's correct. Do you recall if the Canadian Chargé Affairs visited you here, the Chargé Affairs of Canada, the new one?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm going to see him within the coming few days. I know he went to Bikram. Everybody goes to Bikramia, and I was told by Mahmoud there that he was the only head of mission that was asking a lot of deep questions.
Yes.
So when I see him, I will encourage him, and if you don't mind, I can give him your phone number to see if he's willing to come. What they have is what they call local initiatives. It's not a lot of money, $45,000 over 1 year. Still, it will help. But this is under the jurisdiction of the embassy. If there is a local initiative that has cultural value, they can fund it over 1 year from the tune of $45,000. So I will give him the phone number and maybe he will come and visit me.
Well, my problem today, I'm very old and ill of the heart. And my doctor 2 years ago told me that you have 2 years to live. And I am still coming here and fighting against them to show that I can live still some.
You are fighting in many fronts.
This is the barakah of Sudan.
This is the barakah of Sudan.
But I have a very low speed life here to follow still some years, because there are so many to do in the house for writing books. I wrote one finishing last year, one is finishing now. I try also, this part of my job is very important to leave something for the future.
No,
But I become a little tired because it's a lot to do for the money problem, for the people problem, for the technical work, for the people because each brick here are drawn and its documentation will be published. You can have a look to the work. This man is speaking English very well.
But we would like to see you in Warsaw in another 4 years.
Oh,
Pardon, je vais juste faire. Hello, nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
I could hear your very American accent over there.
I'm not American, I'm Canadian.
No, but the accent is
I
very
know.
Northern American.
I know, yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, hello.
Xavier, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Bonjour.
Xavier, nice to meet you.
What if they could find that it's actually urban
Civilized.
master plans for sites like
Yeah, because
Whereabouts in Canada, where are you?
in Ontario. I grew up in Ottawa, that's my dad.
In Ottawa. All right. Yeah.
But I study university in Toronto.
Yeah, I've been to Toronto a couple of times. I
Yeah.
worked in the museum there, the Aga Khan Museum.
Oh yeah.
If you've been,
cool.
yeah.
I'm
There
s-
when preparing before it opened.
I'm studying urban planning at Ryerson University.
All right. Yeah.
So I had a question because I see you're documenting it. Underneath, because it probably goes down really
Most
far.
as we discover, it seems to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms, Professor Bonnet explained it to me a little bit, but in terms of we don't at this time we probably didn't have city official plans like
Probably
we do
not.
today.
We
So how do you think they went about
How to,
that?
I guess, pure guess because that's really not what I normally do. But
Yeah.
I would imagine you have the official buildings